John Wehner has a mean streak to him because every day when I've talked to him, I've told him what the weather's like here, and he said, well, I just went outside, and it's 70 degrees and sunny already. John, why do you do that to me?
I'm trying to convince you and others up there to come on down to Florida for spring training. I mean, it's a whole different world. It's paradise. It's sunny every day. The sun's out. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect down here.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad you get to experience it at least, and we can maybe live our lives a little bit through you anyway.
Hey, grinding through the work week,
Yeah, I can tell you, you're breaking my heart. Last night, the ball game in Tampa, Carlos Santana, the immediate concern, went down with a bit of a knee injury. Anything that you saw there that concerns you?
Oh, for sure, it's concerning. He stayed on the ground for a while, especially a night after we saw the New York Mets closer, Edwin Diaz, tear his patella tendon, celebrating his Puerto Rican victory over Dominicans, and he's out for the season. So, the Mets made a big push this offseason, spent a lot of money to win a World Series, and they just lost their closer over a celebration. So, anytime you see somebody get hurt, you just hope that it's nothing serious. It's a day-to-day thing. We had a scare earlier this spring when McCutchen got hit in the hand, and you're hoping he didn't break anything. He's fine. So we're hoping the same for Carlos. He just kind of landed awkwardly on a pop-up, kind of went down on the ground to scramble for the ball, threw it, and then had to be helped off the field. I mean, he was putting weight on both legs, but the report early on was left knee discomfort, and hopefully that's all it is discomfort, nothing serious that will keep him out.
Yeah, but we did hear from another source that McCutchen has a very minor right elbow soreness out, so they say out of an abundance of caution, they're going to take it slow with him. I guess he'll probably be DHing in a couple of weeks when we open the season.
Well, yeah, you never know how that's going to turn out. Hopefully, like you said, it's minor, and that's, I guess, the good thing now about having the designated hitter in the National League, that you could DH. You can still get a bat in the lineup if you can't play the field, and that's part of the game. Unfortunately, guys get hurt. There's injuries. People get banged up. You just hope nothing is serious enough to keep anybody out for an extended period of time. And to get banged up in spring training, I guess, is better than getting banged up in the regular season, because you still have a couple of weeks to heal up and get better, and you could still, in McCutchen's case, get reps in as a DH to where you still feel sharp once the season starts.
Well, you had all of those back problems back when you were playing, and they actually went back to your rookie year. So I assume that they were even before then. When you are in that position where you want to get ready for a baseball season, and you've spent the entire offseason getting yourself strong and ready to go, and then something like that happens, it can be really, really discouraging, but it really calls for discipline, doesn't it? You have to be patient.
Yeah, and you might have to train a little bit differently. In my case, I had a bad back through college, and that was my rookie year, and I'm playing every day, for my hometown team in a playoff race, and my back was killing me, but I wasn't taking myself out of the lineup and played until I literally couldn't walk. And so what ends up happening, you get surgery, which I did. My back feels way better, but I train differently to keep the strength up in my back. So that is the one thing, I guess, if there is an injury, the rehab and the doctors and trainers and such at this level are so good at not only getting you healthy, but trying to keep you healthy and not to have a reoccurrence. And so you will train a little bit differently. I mean, there's strength and conditioning coaches and massage therapists and so many people now that are so well trained to where you can limit injuries. And we still see them; they're still going to happen. But that's one thing I guess that you could say is positive about getting hurt, is that you can, try to prevent that type of injury again by training a little bit differently.
At spring training, there are a bunch of guys that have been there for a while, and they simply are there getting ready for the season. They know what their position is. They know what their job is going to be. And then you have guys who every year have to fight for a roster spot. And you were in that position a lot during your career, having to fight to make the roster with the big club coming out of spring training. You probably are really pulling hard for guys like Drew Maggi, huh?
No question. Every spring training I've ever been to, I had to fight for or compete for a spot, and what you don't want to do is add pressure to a very tough game, and I unfortunately did that a bunch, and the results weren't good. Instead of just going out there and having fun and just playing the game that you've played your entire life, Drew Maggi is a 32, 33-year-old guy who's never played in a major league game. Looks like he's having a lot of fun, and he doesn't look like there's a lot of pressure. This guy has been unbelievable. He's hitting right around 500. He's got the team lead in home runs, the team lead in RBIs. For a guy that doesn't hit much for much power, he's got versatility. He can move around the infield, play some in the outfield, and he plays hard, and he has a passion for it, and it's fun for him, and he's not putting those his spikes and glove away anytime soon. And so I'm pulling hard for Drew Maggi. I really think that the work's cut out for him, but if he doesn't make it, I think that'll be a valuable extra piece in the minor leagues in case something happens where we have injuries, and you can call him up. But not saying he's not going to make the club. Who knows? The way he's hitting, he's certainly opening some eyes, and he makes the decisions more difficult for Derek Shelton and his staff and general manager Ben Cherington. But and that's what you want. You want competition. You want a lot of good players that. You want somebody to kind of rise above to where it makes your job a little bit easier as far as who to take north. And so we still have a lot of spots that guys are competing for, whether it be pitchers or position players. But what a great story so far. Yeah, it's so much fun watching this guy. I think Joe said last night, I didn't know this, he didn't have a home run last year in over 300 bats. And he's got 3 already this spring and I think 20.
How about that? That's amazing. Hey, it is John Smiley's birthday today. How about that? That's an old teammate of yours.
Yeah, happy birthday, John Smiley. I had no idea. It's funny, I just ran into one of his old teammates a few minutes ago on the pier, Barry Jones, another former Pirate who played in the late 80s. But I didn't know that. It's on St. Patty's Day, St. Johnny Smiley's Day, too. So good for him. A great guy, great man, and yeah, if I think about it, I'll text him and wish him a happy birthday.
And a great curveball. My goodness gracious. It's amazing because not only is it, speaking of lefties with great curveballs, this would be today the late Rod Scurry's birthday today, too. That man could curve a baseball.
And Rod Scurry, to me, we were just talking about him about a week ago. When you talk about watching TV and the great curveballs, Burt Blyleven, the former Pirate Hall of Fame pitcher that's a Twins broadcaster, from the right side, and Rod Scurry from the left side. I thought it was unfair that Rod Scurry's curveball was that good, and lefties had no chance against him. He was some kind of talent, and it's a shame we lost him so young. Yeah,
it really is. John Smiley was a bulldog on the mound, though, wasn't he?
He sure was, and he's just a gentle giant, too. Big, tall guy, 6'5", threw hard, had a good change-up curveball, and but was such a friendly guy, and man, and he was a Pirate, and I think that may have been the saddest scene in that clubhouse in the spring of '92 when he got traded to the Twins. We picked up, I think, Denny Nagel and Midre Cummings for him, and it was a lot of sad faces. John was brokenhearted, I think, and a lot of guys on the team were just shocked and not real happy with that trade, but. Because, yeah, John Smiley's an all-time great person.
Did you ever face him as an opponent?
I did. That's kind of funny because the first time I faced him, I think he had got the best of me. I think I struck out a couple times and I went 0 for, and then when he was a Red, I faced him and got 4 hits off him. So we kind of, one good, one bad.
Oh, man, that would be fun, though. To step up against a former teammate that you've seen for all those years, and you finally get your chance to take your hacks against him. And I would guess that in today's day and age, that involves a lot of texting back and forth. But back then, it might have been a little bit harder. But you got your digs in, and he got his, too.
Yeah, it is. There is a little cat and mouse, and we worked out together a lot in the winter because he stayed in Pittsburgh, married a gal from Aliquippa. He's still in Pittsburgh, in fact, and yeah, I just remember I was coming off the field as he finished up an inning, and he wasn't real happy with me. He mumbled something about making him look bad or whatever. But yeah, it's all in good fun when you're facing old teammates.
You betcha. Hey, John, it's been great this week talking with you. We appreciate your time and your insights on the Buccos and spring training. And by golly, we're looking forward to it. It's not that far off, is it?
Yeah, me too. Forgot to mention, by the way, last night, IUP baseball squad's down here.
Yeah, it is.
Steve Klein, the former big league reliever, was down. They visited Pirate City and was at the game last night in Tampa. And Christian Gabriel, he's an outfielder, young outfielder. I actually know his dad real well from Carrick. But yeah, big shout out to IUP and you folks at Indiana. It's always good talking to you, Todd.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, John, thanks so much. Have a great day today.
Thank you. You too. Happy St. Patty's Day.
And to you. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. What a great guy to talk to. I'm telling you what. It's Pirate Broadcasters. We have a good time with them. Joe Block next week as we head toward the end of spring training. It's 22 and a half after 8 o'clock.